Yes. Good evening, people. Now, remember, Spicy Rumble video down below, and so now shilling on to this video. So, one of my subs sent me this one, and I feel kind of gross for defending Ben Shapiro, but I'm not here to play favorites for any sides, because I don't like anyone. I go by what is factual and correct. Thank God for being a monarchist. So, Ed Krassenstein, for those of you who don't know anything about this particular individual, him along with his brother Brian are two really shady characters with a history of some rather dubious financial practices. There's a guy on Twitter, Dom Lucre, who did a really nice lengthy breakdown of their history. And if you can find it on the archives, there's footage of them on hidden camera, openly admitting straight up they're anti-Trump shills. Their job, and these are their own words, is to sow division. I mention all of this so I can justify why, at least so far as political matters go, I will never look upon them like they're sentient human beings even. Because they're not. They get paid to shill democratic talking points online. You're not an individual with your own sense of opinions or agency. You're a prop pushing the agenda favored by the regime. You and your brother are nothing more than employees, my dude. Follow the money. So when they say things like this, you know they're not particularly wedded to the ideas either, which is why they suck at defending them. Benny Boy's saying the greatest threat to American democracy, actually, is the radical decline in people going to church. And I don't mean democratic rally masquerading as church, I mean traditional church. There's a nice dig by Ben there, not gonna lie. It's very subtle, I can appreciate that one. To which Bozo Brother 1 over here replies, the greatest threat to American democracy is people like Ben Shapiro, believing that democracy relies on people going to church. This is the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Well, to you it would be, considering what I've seen of your financial conduct, the concept of morality would be very much lost on you, and your brother actually. American democracy doesn't depend on Christianity. I think your founding fathers would very much disagree with that, but then again you're only moved by the versions in green. It doesn't depend on any religion. It depends on people believing that the voice of others is as important to society as their own, no matter what religion those other people believe in, if any. Ben Shapiro's point is going so much over their head it's not even funny. Now, first things first, American democracy, if you're clued in, means the oligarchical regime. American democracy is simply its branding slogan. I don't think Krassenstein knows this, by the way, and then again he's too busy trying to sniff the dollars. He doesn't know anything about politics. Secondly, John Adams, one of America's founding fathers, said our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. Wow, it's almost like when you strip God and morality out of any state apparatus, things go haywire. I wonder why. Not that Ed ever thinks this deeply about anything. When someone pointed out to him it is based on a strong moral code, which is what religion provides, he said this, that's true, but should a moral code really depend on religion? Yes. Shouldn't it depend more on just being a good person because that's the right thing to do? And that is more vacuous sloganeering bollocks. What exactly defines being a good person and the right thing to do? What is your standard bearer for this conduct and in what environment? Because radical hypothetical here, but let's say you're in a largely lawless land and you're in an arena where you're being asked to execute someone because the crowd demands it and you'd win their favor, which would benefit you. Is that you being a good person because that's the right thing to do? Leftists have this wildly stupid idea in their heads that morality is somehow innate and that in any and all circumstances you will know the acts of virtue on the basis of what? Being a human being. Hell, we can see that break down across melanin demographics, for heaven's sakes. It's funny because on the thread, there's people who aren't even religious saying, no, they recognize religion plays a vital role in shaping their own moral conduct. Hell, I've even seen comedians take the piss out of atheists now because they recognize the atheists are exactly the same as the religious people. The religion was used as a means to justify and enforce a certain code of conduct, and now with it increasingly diminishing, now the atheists are bullying people in the exact same manner, except they're even worse. They were the ones screaming, oh, separation of church and state. Meanwhile, now they want to make their politics the state religion, hence why you've seen the rainbow flag in freaking everything. Hell, you could even see it during the coup when that mini gremlin called himself the Science. Get real, you're a God-unknown bureaucrat with a God complex. Fuck off. Follow the science. Science is supposed to be based on facts and evidence. The concept of following denotes faith-based action. That's religious, not scientific. They traded the priestly caste of old who would interpret the text to the state interpreters, now called the experts. Funny though, when you get experts who've earned their credentials from the same institutions as the state ones, yet radically depart from the orthodoxy of the state experts, suddenly your experts and academic credentials lose credibility. Why, it's almost like it doesn't really matter what you're actually saying, merely who approves of your conduct. Amazing. Now it's all about enforcing the message, otherwise you're in favor of a mid-20th century Germany. Personally, I favor earlier Germany. Restore the Kaiser. Anyway, what makes me laugh, though, is this idiot is doing the exact same thing that Ben is doing, only the atheist version. He sees Ben's belief as a threat. Hell, he's even calling it the greatest threat. Notice Ben says traditional church. Meanwhile, Krassenstein says no matter what religion people believe in, if any. Unless you're a traditionalist, apparently, according to Krassenstein, because his tweet doesn't even make any bloody sense. Look at his last sentence there. It depends on people believing that the voice of others is as important to society as their own, no matter what religion those other people believe in, if any. Completely lost on him is the concept that different religions have different moral worldviews, but what the hell does that have to do with anything? That is the most vacuous pile of shite I've read in ages. How the hell do people listen to such stupidity? You can believe in all kinds of stupid things, like believing people's voices are equal to yours. Which is a total myth, by the way. That means all opinions are valid on the basis of it coming from a human being, so any rhyme or reason, intellectual justification is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is you're a person with an opinion, a citizen of the nation, and therefore your voice should be respected. Ed, you don't even do that now. You take issue with Ben's bloody opinion, and I'll bet you don't agree with a lot of Ben's positions. Or at least you get paid to say so anyway, who the hell knows? Secondly, how the hell does the people's belief of everyone's opinion being valid due to some bizarre political notions of equality have any effect on the conduct of the politicians who inhabit the regime? It has no bearing on their behavior whatsoever. Heaven's sake, these dim-witted plebs are arguing over the morality of the citizenry whilst completely neglecting the far deeper cause of the problem within the government apparatus, which naturally they will never look at because they're too busy making moolah shilling for it by peddling talking points designed to appeal to the lowest common denominator. These are the same people that will give me hell for wanting an absolute monarch because I yearn for the return of a strongman, I do, and that centralized power in the hands of the one is oh so very terrifying. Meanwhile, these idiots wish for the abolition of any form of religion and bestow far more power to the state in general, under the faulty assumption that having it spread out over thousands of faceless bureaucrats, it'll be just peachy, and that these people will somehow do the right thing because, despite not having any foundational morality, they will somehow do what you perceive as the right thing to do because only your ilk are the good people. And they think I'm crazy. Good lord, do I hate democracy. Remember to check out the Rumble video, folks. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.